Hi, welcome to RealHomeRecording.com. I'm Adam. In this video, I'll be reviewing the FabFilter Pro-DS de-esser plugin. This right here is a very, very sensitive, bright microphone. I was actually really disappointed after I bought it, and I essentially couldn't use it on vocals because it was too essy. That's that sound whenever you make an S noise or a T noise. Anything like that just makes a track sound like poo. And I'm not going to tell you what type of microphone this is, Rode NTK, but I spent a good amount of money on it, and I don't use it very often because it's so essy. So I've been reading a lot of comments on message boards about this plugin, and people are describing it as magical, transparent, the best de-esser plugin I've ever used. I've bought many plugins like this, but all of them are essentially obsolete. That's the type of comments I've been hearing. So let's check it out. Let's see if the Pro-DS plugin can make this track that I've never ever been happy with sound good. Let's see if it works. FabFilter has put out some really great plugins in the past, and if the user reviews on various message boards are any indication, my harsh sounding Rode NTK should be tamed pretty nicely by this plugin. So we'll see. So here we have the audio track from the video that you just watched. It's quite sibilant, and it needs to be taken care of. Hi, welcome to RealHomeRecording.com. I'm Adam. In this video, I'll be reviewing the FabFilter Pro-DS de-esser. Just anytime that sibilance comes in, it just tears my head off. It's really unprofessional sounding, and it's a shame that so many microphones are sensitive in that range, but you know, that's kind of just happens. It tends to happen more with condenser microphones, but it also does affect dynamic microphones. It is what it is, and this plugin is supposed to take care of it, so let's see what it does. So we have our little interface. It looks like other FabFilter plugins. The logo's up here, the buy now button's here. We have a undo and redo, and then an A/B comparison, a copy to A/B, and then we have the presets, everybody's favorites. Mastering, single vocal, we have male and female settings, and then we have a help menu, which also shows the help topics. Really, really good to refer to. I love plugins that have that built in. And then right here we have a real-time analyzer, which I'll show you right now. Hi, welcome to RealHomeRecording.com. I'm Adam. In this video, I'll be reviewing. Basically, the way it works is everything that's grayed out's not being affected. The stuff in green is showing you what is being detected as sibilance, and then within that green, the FabFilter Pro-DS, it's showing you the new waveform that's made. Because the way this plugin works, and actually it works pretty ingeniously. First of all, it detects sibilance. Its main use is on vocals or voiceover recordings, anything to do with the human voice. But our other usage that FabFilter says to use it on is just really harshness of a mix. And typically that comes into cymbal range, you know, on most bands, or acoustic guitars can sound a little harsh as well. So that can be used on a master or on the individual track. Either way, it does work. So down here we have two big orange knobs. We have threshold, which as you can see from the tooltip that popped up, it basically sets our, and actually let me get this information from the thing that I already printed out, actually, which is from the manual, the PDF manual. The threshold knob sets the threshold of the sidechain level above which the de-esser will trigger and apply gain reduction. the circular sidechain level meter around the threshold knob, which you'll see when I play this. FabFilter Pro-DS de-esser plugin. That thing right there that was appearing around here. It shows the level of the filtered and possibly stereo linked signal that is used for detection, which makes setting the threshold a little easier. If this track weren't compressed, it would go up only to about this range, maybe even lower, all depending on how hot you recorded your signal. Very nifty feature is this audition button. You click this, and all it does is it plays back what it detects. So everything that you just heard is being reduced by the amount that you set with this, the range knob. The range knob is just as important as the threshold, because the idea of this is you're going to adjust it so that it doesn't sound like the person lost their front teeth. That's the expression I like to use, because that's exactly what it sounds like when there's way too much range. The other control that's very, very important is down here. This is called the sidechain filter. Basically, you'll see this lit up with various amounts of orange that you'll see right now. Oops, let me turn the audition off on the threshold, and let me eliminate this selection. Is a very, very sensitive, bright microphone. I was actually really disappointed after I bought it, and I essentially couldn't use it on vocals because... Now the way I use this is to find... There's a section in this audio track where I go sss. So let me find that. I'm not going to tell you what type of microphone this is. Rode NTK. But... And I don't use it very often because I spent a good amount of money on it. I'll tell you what, ooh, makes a track sound like poo. Couldn't use it on vocals, pointed after I bought it, and I essentially couldn't use it on vocals because it was too There we go. So this section right here, you'll see an area that's light up. Okay, so right there, right in this area. So that's what I'm going to set our level to. Sound. Right on the border. It's right around 5 kilohertz. And sound maybe 16 and a half. And you can also audition that as well. Okay, now the other controls are over here. You set the detection mode to single vocal, which is recommended obviously for the human voice, and then all round is recommended for mixes or instruments, but it's mainly for mixes, again decreasing harshness in the mix. And then down here we have wideband, which is basically the entire overall sound, the entire spectrum is reduced when sibilance is detected. And then split band only affects the selected range of frequencies, so it works a lot like a multi-band compressor. Over here we have a stereo link, which, because this file is essentially a mono file, even though it's stereo, it's a mono file for our purposes, and I have that straight up at 100%. The look ahead is a very convenient feature. It allows the de-esser to detect signals into the future, and it works better than if you have it off. Now, the only thing is, if you have this on, and let's say you're running this plugin in real time, you want to have this thing, you know, you're doing like a live, I don't know, live radio show, live talk radio show, and you want to use this plugin for whatever reason. You got to turn this off so you don't have any delay in the plugin. See how when I turn this back on, this number over here changes to 720? I'm going to turn it off, and now it's 0. That means there's no delay in the plugin. So I'm going to turn it back on and also show you the oversampling, which helps in quality for this this plugin. I'm going to set it to 4x and watch that CPU number again come up. Now it's at 760. So that all adds latency into the signal, and it's something that you don't want if you want to use this plugin in real time. But because I'm using it as a mixing tool, that really doesn't matter. The other options we have here, sidechain, you can trigger this from another audio track. One of the recommendations from FabFilter is if you have a processed vocal and, for example, it has a bunch of reverb on it, or it's heavily distorted, or some other weird processing effect, they recommend that you run this plugin prior to those effects, or if you already have those effects on the track for whatever reason, send the dry signal, the original dry signal, to it, and then trigger it off the external sidechain. And there's more about that in the manual. I'm not going to go into it here. The other options we have are an input and output level. You can set that with this. You can double click it and type the number in, whatever. Click this down here to hide that. And again, the out works the same way, the output level. Over here, we have our meters. We have an in meter and an out meter. And actually, this is more of a gain reduction meter, I'm sorry. Yeah, so this is the gain reduction meter. And I use this when setting the range. Usually, at least for this track, it sounded good around -8 to -10 decibels of gain reduction. You can also set the threshold that way as well. But I was already messing around with this before, so I'm just going to dial in those settings. So we got a threshold level of -43.5 approximately. And then our range was 11. And I was pretty happy with that sound. So let's listen to it now. Oh, and I forgot to take the audition button off, so I'm going to click that now. Hi, welcome to realhomerecording.com. I'm Adam. In this video, I'll be reviewing the FabFilter Pro-DS de-esser plugin. This right here is a very, very sensitive, bright microphone. I was actually really disappointed after I bought it, and I essentially couldn't use it on vocals. Hi, welcome to realhomerecording.com. I'm Adam. In this video, I'll be reviewing the FabFilter Pro-DS de-esser plugin. This right here is a very, very sensitive, bright microphone. I was actually really... You know, this happened before. This is version 1 of the program, and there's potential for bugs, or maybe I'm just not pressing the right thing. But the real-time analyzer decided to not work. I'm not sure why that is. Maybe that's a limitation of the trial, you know, the demo. It doesn't show you that sometimes. But that's something that maybe FabFilter. See, now it's working. So I don't know if that's because I'm using a screen capture program. But there it is. It's finally working when I'm not playing audio. But yeah, there you go. It's doing a pretty damn good job, I think. This video, I'll be reviewing the FabFilter Pro-DS de-esser plugin. This right here is a very, very sensitive, bright microphone. See, it's right on the edge of sounding too, again, two front teeth got knocked out, but it's good because it's matching the level of the rest of the track. And when you have sibilance, those harsh words or phrases or sounds, noises really is a better description. Those harsh noises, anytime an S word, anytime sibilance happens, it just sticks out like a sore thumb. And this takes care of it pretty well. A very, very sensitive, bright microphone. I was actually really disappointed after I bought it. And I essentially couldn't use it on vocals because it was too essy. That sounds like it's a little bit, there's a little bit too much gain reduction going on. So I'm going to bring up the range to about 8. A very, very sensitive, bright microphone. I was actually really disappointed after I bought it. And I essentially couldn't use it on vocals because it was too essy. That's that sound whenever you make an S noise or a T noise, anything like that just makes a track sound like poo. And I'm not going to tell you what type of microphone this is, Rode NTK, but alright, I'm pretty happy with that. What I would recommend doing though, there's some areas where that front teeth sound does stick out a little bit. So what I would do is add a piece of automation. I just click the envelope button right here, and then this pops up. Put in, where is it? Range, and then dial in different settings, you know, so that it backs off the gain reduction a little bit and doesn't sound, again, like front teeth are missing. I can really exaggerate that effect right now if you want me to show it to you, which I will. I'm going to clear this first and go back here. Now here's teeth missing. And I essentially couldn't use it on vocals because it was too essy. That's that sound. So when you're using this plugin for the first time, the idea is to avoid that. So you just keep backing off on this knob until most of your track sounds good. And then any of those, you know, weird areas that it just goes too much on, just adjust with automation, and you'll do pretty damn good. I think this plugin's pretty effective. It sounds better than the previous plugins I've used. One thing I noticed is it actually reduces the harshness of the entire track, even when it's not doing any gain reduction, or at least it's not showing it. It does reduce some brightness on the overall track, which I like. Now, whether that's my imagination or not, the track definitely does sound better with this plugin on, which is really what I asked for. And it was, I wouldn't say it was easy to use, because this track is so difficult to fix, but I would say it's equally as difficult as other de-essing plugins. But once you get the hang of it, and actually the two biggest things are the audition buttons right here. I really, really like those. Not every de-essing plugin has this, and also not every de-essing plugin has, you know, intelligent detection like this one does. Actually, I think only one other plugin has that. Most of the conventional ones work on essentially multi-band compression principles, and this one doesn't, you know. So it costs $189 if you're not a FabFilter customer. I think there's like an introductory thing going on right now, or maybe it's over by the time you see this video. But if you've purchased previous FabFilter plugins, I believe this is cheaper than $189, but it's $189 for new customers. And when you think about it, I mean, that price is pretty steep for one plugin. And, you know, it's one of the top of the line de-essers, if not the top of the line. I mean, reading the reviews, maybe I'm using this wrong, or maybe just my track is so bad that it can't take care of everything, but reading reviews on various message boards, people love this plugin. So I might be using it wrong. Apologies if I am, but that's what I was able to do. I was able to get a pretty good sound out of it, in my opinion. And I still think it's a little bit too bright, but maybe my ears are just so used to dynamic microphones that, you know, I don't like the way it sounds, period. It's too detailed. And maybe that's the case, maybe not. But Pro-DS gets 2 thumbs up from me, from realhomerecording.com. And I recommend getting it. Again, it's one of the top of the line de-essers. If you're looking for alternatives, the one that I've been using and that you've heard working in the background on all the voiceovers on realhomerecording.com videos is the Digital Fish Phones Spitfish de-esser. That's a free program. And then the other alternatives are the SPL de-esser, as well as the Waves Renaissance de-esser. And I would recommend the Iosis E2 de-esser. However, Iosis is kind of at a standstill right now. The company, you can't really download trials from their website anymore. So if you can get a used copy of it, then, you know, the Iosis D2 is a pretty damn good de-esser from what I've heard. But besides that, you know, if you can't buy the Iosis E2, then it's a horrible recommendation, right? This program is available for a 30-day trial, and it supports Mac OS X, Windows, all kinds of versions, and it's on the Audio Units, VST, VST3, AAX, RTAS, and Audio Suite platforms. 32-bit and 64-bit support. There's no hardware dongle required. You just get a simple license key if you end up buying it. Good stuff. FabFilter makes really good products, and this is another one of them. So this has been Adam for realhomerecording.com.